Let's say China.
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 There are next door neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska.
You go over to China.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Trump statement, tweeting out insults to Angela Merkel. What's he doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host.
Yes, it is I, James Andrews, and you are listening to So This Happened, arguably the only news you will need to hear today. It is Friday, the 21st of April, 2017. We've had a great week, we're going to have a great weekend, and in Fox News, Tucker Carlson has taken over the coveted 8 o'clock slot that was originally occupied by Bill O'Reilly and his Fun Factor. It's an interesting move on Fox News' behalf. They've gone from a man who was accused of sexual assault to a man who has possibly never had sex before in his entire life. Way to play it safe, Fox. And of course, it wouldn't be a day ending with a Y if somebody from the Trump administration didn't make an absolute fool of themselves. Well, today, that spotlight was turned squarely on Jeff Sessions, a man who looks and sounds like every morning when he wakes up, he goes, "Really? It's not 1950 anymore. Well, how the fuck did that happen?" Anyway, today, Jeff Sessions forgot that there were in fact 50 states when he said this about Hawaii.
I really am amazed that a judge sitting on an island in the Pacific can issue an order that stops the President of the United States from what appears to be clearly his statutory and constitutional powers.
Well, Jeff, Hawaii is a state. And for your benefit and anybody else that doesn't know, here's a little history of Hawaii. Hawaii is the newest of all states, becoming a state on August the 21st, 1959. Now, thinking about it, it makes sense that Jeff may not have realized that this was a state, because as I said previously, he wakes up every morning thinking it's still 1950. Therefore, Hawaii will not become a state for 9 years. So, Jeff, fair enough, mate. Fair enough, you redneck twat. And now, moving over to Paris, a city I absolutely love. Every time you ever go to Paris, it is spectacular. Paris has had its fair share of trouble in the last few years, particularly coming from terrorist attacks. Well, yesterday was no different when, according to conservative pundits, a massive Islamic terrorist attack in France. Now, I don't want to be insensitive. I'm going to throw that out there right now. Yesterday's attack was one man who shot a policeman dead. There was a note found near the body of the suspected terrorist praising ISIS. Now, police have looked into his past and he has been arrested a few times for things, mainly threats against the police. They've not actually been able to find any links to ISIS, even though ISIS have now said one of their fighters did in fact do the act. But let's back up just a little bit on that. The constant fear coming out of the conservative press that massive Islamic terrorist attacks, it's a big headline, it's very flashy, it's very, very showy, but it's taking it just a little bit too far. Now, I'm not ever going to argue that a policeman being shot in the head is not a tragedy. It's terrible. It's an awful thing, and I feel terrible for his family, and I wish them good vibes from over here. But to call this a massive Islamic terrorist attack, it's a slight exaggeration of what this in fact is, and it's just building and stoking that fear. and that hatred of the Muslim religion. Now, I've got into so many arguments with people about this, saying everyone who's Muslim is evil. Let's get rid of all Islamic people. And it's this rhetoric that I find it very, very damaging. There are millions and millions of Muslim people in the world, and I think you would not be able to find one person who is a true Muslim who would say that these terrorists are Muslims, that they are following the teachings of Allah. They're not out there because they're not. These are extremist people who want to use religion, because it's a very easy thing to use, to complete their vendetta. Their vendetta is against the West, and saying they're Islamic just makes it a hell of a lot easier for them to pass on that cause. Now, they may think they're Muslim, but they're not. But the message that is getting spread out to so many people, and people are talking about all over social media about how Islam's an evil religion, it's a violent religion. There are 109 verses in the Quran that talk about violence. Well, there aren't, actually. That was a rumour that Sean Hannity, bless him, started about 8 years ago when he had a guest on and said there are 109 verses of violence in the Quran, and there just aren't. It's all in historical context. If you look at the Old Testament and the Bible, there's just as much violence there as well. You have to just take it in the context that it was written. You can't just take one verse, pluck it out of nowhere. In the Bible, for instance, it's wrong to be gay. It says you can't sleep with another man. Well, the very next verse says you also can't eat shellfish and you can't wear wool. So Ricky over there, making fun of him because he's gay, and saying it's against Jesus, take off your damn wool jumper and put down that shrimp sandwich. And therein is the problem with these just very vast statements like Islam is evil, because it's not. I don't want to get into the discussion of Islam. 15 minutes is not even close to enough time to talk about it. And actually, it's not even what I wanted to talk about when I brought up this subject of the Paris shootings. What I did want to bring up is another topic which I should never even attempt to talk about in 15-minute segment. But that is going to be guns. Oh no, not guns. Right, yeah, gun control, okay. I was listening to some conservative talk show host today, and you'll notice I do that quite a lot, and it's not because I'm a masochist. I actually am interested in the other viewpoint of people to see how wrong they are. No, not how wrong they are, but how wrong they are. Anyway, the arguments today was this, that all these shootings in London, the one recently where the man stabbed the policeman to death, yesterday in Paris. What these conservative pundits are saying is, if they had guns, nobody would be taking. They'd take those terrorists right out if they had a gun. Well, let me shoot down that argument right now. Most of the larger terrorist attacks have happened in the United States. Nightclub in Florida, the shootings in California. There are guns here, and guess what? They didn't stop this, you see. So that argument's null and void, and I'm not going to get into an argument about gun control, because that just, you've got people on both sides who aren't willing to budge an inch, and people defend their Second Amendment rights because it's in the Constitution. Well, it's an amendment to the Constitution, which is quite important, I think. It's an amendment. It wasn't actually in the original Constitution. It was something that after they'd written the Constitution, they said, well, you know what, let's put that in there about guns as well. But now, oh my God, you can't touch that, because it is now very, very sacred, even though it's an amendment. I don't think people realise that when they say, I'm protecting my Second Amendment rights. Well, it's amendment. You could do another amendment. I don't know how many there are in the Constitution, but you could do like a 20th or a 21st. It's a piece of paper, folks. It's a piece of fucking paper. And I seem absolutely incapable of doing a happy episode on a Friday. And this is 3 in a row that I've been getting angry. I don't know what it is. It's really strange. But you can hear Trump Vader's here. And that always puts a smile on my face. Hey, how are you? He's looking very nice. He's got a little French pin attached to his suit today. Is that in solidarity? Yeah, he's in solidarity. He's nodding away over there. He's very good. Anyway, Trump Vader, you want to read your tweet? All right, mate. The microphone is all yours.
Another terrorist attack in Paris? The people of France will not take much more of this. will have big effect on presidential election.
Trump Vader, did you just come on my show and do a subtle endorsement for Marine Le Pen in the French election this weekend? He's shrugging. He's over there just shrugging. You did, didn't you? Now, just to be certain, you're talking about Marine Le Pen, correct? The same lady who runs the National Front. Yes, the one whose slogan is "Make France Safe Again." I don't know where she got that, but it's an interesting slogan. He likes that slogan, "Make France Safe Again." Oh, he likes it. Oh, that's great. That's great. And she's also the one that was on trial in 2015, right, for inciting racial hatred after comparing Muslims praying in the street to the Nazi occupation of France. And speaking of the Nazi occupation, isn't she also the lady who said that the French didn't actually give any Jews to the Nazis, that's just completely made up and fabricated? That Marine Le Pen, that's who you just endorsed? Okay, well, hey, if it is, it is. If it is, it is. That's your funeral, my friend. And as you know, and I really don't want to today because I'm a little pissed off that you came on here and did an endorsement, a political endorsement on my program without asking me, because I would have said no. I would have absolutely said no. But, you see, he does that. I get mad at him and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, James, I'm sorry." Okay, fine, we'll give you a fucking round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump Vader. Oh, he's not happy with that lack of enthusiasm that you're showing. Well, Trump Vader, go down to Florida, have a relaxing weekend, and then come back with something a little better than a party political broadcast on my bloody program, okay? Thank you very, very much. Now, it's Friday. I don't want to be in a bad mood anymore. So, somebody pointed out yesterday that I didn't pick on my new favourite punching bag, Eric Trump. So, let's do that. That'll cheer me right up. I'm just going to play a statement from Eric. It's from a while ago. It's not today's news, but it might cheer me up a little bit. It was a statement where he was talking about how American jobs have disappeared and that, it's mainly because of Syrian refugees. And, well, here's a quote, and then we'll discuss why he's an idiot.
My father wants a safe country, and he also wants Americans to have jobs. I mean, they should come first. You were born in this country. You were born here legally. You're here legally, right? I mean, wages have been stagnant for the last 15 years, and it's because you have, Syrian refugees coming in. It's because you have, thousands of people coming over the border. I mean, and Americans are suffering because of it, and that's his point.
Oh, Eric. When God was handing out brains, you were absent that day, weren't you, my friend? Where do we even start with the idiocy of what he just said? Well, first, facts. Since the Syrian war started 5 years ago, 11,000 refugees have been admitted to the United States. Eric suggested that over the last 15 years, the reason wages have stagnated is because Syrian refugees. 11,000 Syrian refugees. Probably didn't take all the jobs, did they, Eric? No. And actually, when jobs actually, wages started stagnating? 1980. Not 15 years ago, quite a lot longer. And that was Ronald Reagan. Trickle-down economics, which doesn't work for anybody except the super rich, like you. And apparently when you're super rich, you really don't have to think about anything or learn anything, because whatever you say, you say, oh, I'm wrong. Well, oh, fuck it, I'll just go kill a lion. That'll be great. Sit down, you twat. Your dad still doesn't love you most. Ha! Okay. I do feel better, actually. Yeah. I feel much, much better now. And it is Friday. It is time for me to get a beer. It is time for you to hopefully get a beer as well. Unless you're under 21 in the US or 18 in England, then you probably shouldn't get a beer. I don't want to be accused of corrupting the youth. Anyway, guys, have a spectacular weekend. Follow me on Twitter at SoThisHappened. And if you dig what we're doing, please subscribe on iTunes or Google Play or whatever else you're listening to. And if you're going to say something nice about me, you can write a review. Because remember what your mother told you. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Goodbye, guys. Have a great weekend. Peace.
Let's say China.
China.
China. China.
There are next door neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land.